So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. और मुझे पता है आप सब लोग बहुत इंतजार कर रहे होंगे इस शनिवार की, इस सैटरडे की इंस्पिरेशनल स्टोरी के लिए. So ladies and gentlemen, before we introduce our guest today, I would love to read few beautiful lines which actually made my day and actually are inspired from the story of our guest today. So lines कुछ इस तरीके से हैं. विकल्प बहुत मिलेंगे, विकल्प बहुत मिलेंगे रास्ता भटकाने के लिए. विकल्प बहुत मिलेंगे रास्ता भटकाने के लिए. संकल्प एक ही काफी है, संकल्प एक ही काफी है मंजिल पाने के लिए. और इन्हीं लाइन से इंस्पायर्ड आज की स्टोरी हमारे साथ शेयर करेंगी अपनी गीतांजलि पदी. शी इज अ रिनाउंड वेलनेस कोच. So Bakika, we would like to invite her to our show, episode 22, SheFlix, the GWC talk show. Welcome, Gitanjali.
Namaste. Namaste, Akanksha ji. Thank you very much for inviting me.
How are you?
I'm doing good. And Bangalore weather is also doing very good. It's all, cozy.
Lovely.
Rainy.
Lovely. Lovely. So Gitanjali, we would like to know about you, from you only, so that people can connect and listen to your inspirational story.
Okay. So as I said, in my introduction, that I belong to a very humble family in Rourkela. It's a steel city in Orissa. So we were like, two daughters to our parents. And in 1980, when we were two daughters, it was not accepted by our society कि सिर्फ लड़कियां कैसी हो सकती हैं, बेटे भी तो होने चाहिए ना. So I have always competed to be the best among whoever is available in my society, so that my parents never thought कि उनके पास बेटा नहीं है, so there's something lacking in them. And whatever I am today, it's all because of my mother. She was the source of inspiration for me, but at the same time, she was the biggest challenge in my mind, in my life, because with my delivery, she became schizophrenic. So, you can understand when your mother is not mentally stable, your childhood is not, it's not certain. You don't know today what is happening and tomorrow what would be your situation. So that is how my childhood has gone. And then I graduated, and in fact, the peculiarity was I was so good in study, but I wanted to study literature initially. But then parents never allowed us to study literature. It is like you have to study science, either be a doctor or an engineer. And I was not interested to become an engineer, so I chose to write medical. But then situation didn't allow me to study MBBS, and I studied botany honors, and then I wanted to be a biotechnologist, and that was the first year in my university biotechnology got introduced. That is way back in 2001. But then तब मेरे parents को नहीं पता था कि biotechnology भी कुछ field होती है, and they was like, no, you can either choose to become, do an MCA or MBA. So I decided to do an MBA and landed into IT. Long story short, I got married to the person whom I wanted. That's also a big story. I would share some other day. But then जैसे ही शादी हुई 3-4 महीने के बाद कुछ medical negligency के चलते I was about to die. But with God's grace, I'm alive. But I became a diabetic. And that is where the real challenge came. See, I have seen medical condition throughout my life because of my mom. She had undergone 9-10 major surgery. But then when you see somebody and help somebody, that's a different thing. And when you are the victim, it is a different thing. And believe me, it was not easy for me to accept that I became diabetic and life is a challenge. It just, early 20s, I got married, and then 3 months down the line, I'm diabetic. In fact, my husband used to tell, because we dated 7 years and then got married, he's like, गारंटी पीरियड तो मैंने चेक किया था, फिर कैसा ये माल नकली निकला या चाइना वाला निकला. So but then that's how it started. And then I was growing good in my career. in 12 years of my IT career, I become a senior delivery manager. But then what used to happen is every time I used to go to a doctor to plan for a baby, they would say, no, it's not possible with this uncontrolled diabetic. It's not going to be happening. And whatever they told, I did. But then gradually I realized that nobody can help me unless and until I wanted to be helped by myself. I started reading because I had a bio background, so it was easy for me to understand things and do things in a better way. With my IT job only, I started reading, doing things, and finally at 2009, I delivered my daughter, a healthy baby. इनफैक्ट उसके साथ भी ऐसा था कि डॉक्टर नेवर थॉट कि आई शुड डिलीवर इट नॉर्मली बिकॉज the sonography report was always showed that she is a heavy baby. We never considered that heavy is only motapa, heavy is also tall. वो दिमाग में कभी आया नहीं. Though my mother-in-law used to tell कि हमारे फैमिली में तो होती है 4 किलो के बच्चे, but then that mind comes into your thinking, नहीं कुछ तो गलत नहीं हो जाना चाहिए. So the day when I delivered her, she didn't even fit into the cradle because she was so tall. That's why her height was so, that's why she was weighing so much. And after that, again, I went, it's like my, dream fulfilled. I became a mother, and then I again started concentrating on my IT career. Then gradually with every growth, I realized my time from my family is going away. With one promotion, it's like one more hour of, trading I'm doing with my family, that though I might buy you a little expensive gift, but I might not be able to spend the weekend with you. So these guilt feeling started a seed on my mind, that whether I can, think of an alternative career or I can do something. And simultaneously I was reading, because diabetes is something, it doesn't come alone, जैसे दूल्हे के साथ बराती आते हैं, diabetes, if you become a diabetes for 4-5 years, your kidney would start affecting, your hair would start affecting, your liver would start affecting, cholesterol, BP, thyroid, these are all normal things which comes along diabetism. So one other thing I was fighting, and was gradually managing my job and a daughter, family and everything. Then one fine day, I thought, okay, whatever I'm doing, it is giving me help. Why don't I share few things with my colleague? Couple of my colleagues only started asking me, Gitanjali, you are also diabetic, but you don't look like your sugars are always maintained and all. Like that, my journey started. And, like in IT, we keep on writing certification. I also started writing small certification in nutrition. And finally, from last 3 years, 2018, I said goodbye to my IT career and full-fledgedly doing this. So I have been helping people in different aspects, from building immunity till fighting cancer. And I feel more satisfied today.
Right. So we always say this because you have already shared this journey of yours. But कहीं ना कहीं ये एक क्वेश्चन सभी के दिमाग में रहता है कि बचपन से ही वो था, इंक्लिनेशन था वेलनेस की तरफ, या फिर ये बाद में आया है? As you already shared that when you faced it, then you dedicatedly started working over it. But there is some that inclination that you get to know, that instinct that you get to know.
No, actually आकांक्षा जी, ऐसा था ना कि बचपन से जब भी मैं अपनी माँ को देखती थी कोई भी चीज के लिए सफर करने के लिए, and because treatment wise things were not advanced in those time, it's always medication. And I was seeing that gradually. I remember when I was like 7-8 years, she used to gulp only 2-3 pills, and it has never affected my study, because in certain period of life, in a year, she would be ill. But gradually that illness started more, frequency started more, and number of medicines also started increasing. There was time she used to gulping 19 tablets. I was like, khana hi kyun khana hai, dawai se hi ji lete hain. That is where I was always, always wanted to do something, but we had no choice apart from getting into medical. And getting into medical also was a challenging tough, because when I was writing my JEE, we had only 256 seat, out of which we had certain quotas. And because of being a general quota, you don't get into anything. So I got into BDS. So my father told कि दांतों का डॉक्टर बन के क्या करेगी, और एक बार मेडिकल लिखो. I said, हो गया, it's enough. I know what is my capability and what I can do. So that's where medical story went. I thought, okay, now a lot of things is coming, genetic engineering, biotechnology, I will study them. I didn't know that after doing so well, they would tell what is biotechnology, why you have to do biotechnology. But when I became ill, and when I had to struggle with my life, I didn't wanted that feeling to go to my daughter, that if you have a lifestyle disorder, your life is end, you cannot dream it. And one of my friend, she became a friend when I became diabetic, and I saw her mom's passion towards her health. I wanted to get that for my daughter. That's why I thought, okay, now it's a time we should do something. And then I started it. Majority was like, to give a belief to my daughter or to my younger sisters, basically, because till now in my family, women are educated. They're highly educated because that's how our background is. But to education is only not to choose a job career or become a professional. It's just to raise a good family and to find a good groom. So I thought, if I can leave this and start something new, it will be an inspiration to my near and dear one. That's how I started Akanksha ji. And then also what used to happen is, as I told you, see, when I got married, and then within 3-4 months of being diabetic, and then people used to in fact tell ki, isko to bacche vacche honge nahi. Why don't, there were people would suggest when we go to my in-laws house, people would suggest to my mother-in-law, anyway, she will not get conceived, right? Why don't you think about a second marriage for your son? Though it was like, I would think because of my diabetic it is happening, but it was, because 4-5 years we didn't have kids. So because of that, people were also telling, but it's like when you have something in your mind, it always feel that ki galti tumhari hi hai, you are not able to produce, that's why it's happening.
और ये बहुत काफी हद तक सही है जब कहते हैं कि घर में ही जब सपोर्ट नहीं मिल पाता है तो यू सफर दैट डिप्रेशन, और वो उसमें कहीं ना कहीं आप अपनी हेल्थ को बहुत ज्यादा इफेक्ट करते हैं, वो मेंटल पीस जो होता है वो भी इफेक्ट होता है.
Actually, I am always lucky. I've got my parents' support, whatever I have done. I've also got my in-laws' support, whatever I have done. And peculiarity was, they were never doubtful that I would not be able to succeed in my life, or I will never be able to have a baby. It was this, when you go and somebody would say ki ye nahi kar sakti, they will come and, it was like I was taking that victimization feeling. Maybe I would have been more mature at that time कि okay, जो लोग बोलते हैं बोलने दो, कुत्ते तो भूखते रहते हैं, हाथी चलता रहता है, वो माइंडसेट मेरा नहीं था. I was like, नहीं, मेरे लिए ही मेरे घर वालों को सुनना पड़ रहा है. That's how I went into depression.
Right. और ज्यादातर स्टोरीज जो भी यहाँ पर आई हैं, जो भी गेस्ट हमारे आए हैं, सबको कहीं ना कहीं एक ऐसा तो इंसिडेंट फेस करना ही पड़ा है, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, जैसे कि आपकी टैगलाइन भी है क्रिएटिव की, टर्निंग एडवर्सिटी इनटू अपॉर्चुनिटी. सो दे फेस one or the other adversity that they try to turn into opportunity that actually help them to grow themselves. So next question that I would ask you is how it all started. Like, as you faced that health challenge, as you faced that health issue, then what was the first thing you did to start your entrepreneurship journey?
Okay. So I became a diabetic in the year 2005. 2005 I got married, and 2005 only I became diabetic. Till 2009-10, I was only studying for my health, so that I know that I'm taking care of my self well, because I knew. See, this is something which initial days of my pregnancy, my mother-in-law taught me, is अगर तुम अपना ख्याल रखती हो तो ही सब कुछ अच्छा है, because तुम अगर अच्छी रहोगी तो मेरा बेटा अच्छा रहेगा, तुम अगर अच्छी रहोगी तो मेरा पोती अच्छा रहेगा. That was the only mantra. So I started taking care of myself in that way. And gradually what happened is, tiredness, or if you see with diabetism, what happens is how much ever you try to eat well. See, for an example, in this monsoon season or prior to that, in the summer season, the best food you can eat for your energy, for your vitamin D, vitamin K is mango, and you are prohibited to eat it. So in that way, what happens is lot of vitamin deficiency comes into picture. And for me, vitamin B12 deficiency was the key to start my journey, because every 1 or 2 months I would go and take my vitamin B12 shots. And I was fed up of taking injections, because being a diabetic, type 1 diabetic, you were already taking 2-3 injection a day. But on top of that, because of deficiency also, you start taking injection. It's like, better to plan your food in such a way, or eat in such a way that your deficiencies are taken care. Once your deficiency is taken care, your inner environment, the body's environment, the ecosystem is friendly enough to flourish. That's how I started my journey, and I wrote my first certification. And gradually I started helping few of my colleagues who were like, getting into diabetism or into syndromax, or any kind of metabolic syndromes. I know that if it is a syndromes, we know we can revamp it, or they can come out of medication, or they can live a healthy life. And 2-3 success story gave me a boost that yes, these are something which is working.
Wow.
And I need to think about it as a profession.
Wonderful, wonderful. So one question that arises in my mind after listening to you is, as we always say, diabetes का एक अलग ही अपना treatment procedure है, and जो उसके symptoms होते हैं, like is it always mandatory और कहीं ना कहीं compulsory होता है कि जिसको भी diabetes होता है वो उसका weight ज्यादा होता है, या फिर underweight also do get डायबिटीज, और नॉर्मल वेट को जिनका नॉर्मल वेट होता है उनको भी हो सकता है? that is completely what you are eating, or what is your lifestyle that depends on that, or just the weight issues?
No, see, actually, the first misunderstanding what we have about diabetes is it is an uncontrolled sugar. It is not only uncontrolled sugar. It is, you need to understand, when you are a diabetic, your physiological and your metabolic functionality is compromised. See, till today, we think that if I am diabetic, my insulin is only required to digest my food. It is not true. Right. You also need insulin to breathe. You also need insulin to, do lot of other physiological activity. So yes, right, up to certain extent, it is correct that if a person is diabetic, she might lose a lot of weight, or she might gain a lot of weight depending on her physiological and metabolic body type. But also, right, it is important that in today's situation, we all need to be living a healthy lifestyle, because see, genes are getting muted. So if you see in our grandparents' generation, they used to get diabetes, BP when post their retirement, 60s, 70s type. Then with our parents' generation, it started that they're about to retire 50 years. Every 20 years, that disease also is preponed to 20 years. Then in our generation, we will find lot of us which are nearing 40s or mid 40s or early 30s. Also, I have many patients who are diabetes, who have thyroid, who have PCOD. Fertility is the biggest concern today. So it's all about how well you wanted to live your life, or what is your current lifestyle. You need to understand that and then act upon it.
So is it true that sedentary lifestyle, if you're leading a sedentary lifestyle, you can be prone to diabetes? Is that true?
Yes. See, I will give you a simple example, Akanksha ji. अगर घर में कोई भी मशीनरी हम रखते हैं, see, for an example, you buy a TV and you don't use it. It is wrapped in a box for 3 to 4 years. And do you think after that, if you plugged in, it will give you the optimal level of performance? Half of the time, it will not even work.
Right.
So if that is a machinery which is built with so advanced technology, if it is not working only with 2-3 years of non-productivity, you think about your body. If it is not active and you just sitting in a chair and just doing majority of our work. See, earlier what used to happen is, in fact, in our Indian lifestyle, women also used to do a lot of things. It is like, you can stand in your kitchen work only. There are a lot of body type exercise used to happen. But today, being into this industry also, if I have to go and work in my in-laws house, I still get little worried ki yaar sab kuch baith ke karna hai. So our body is not flexible.
ये बहुत सुनने को मिलता है जो पुराने लोग हैं उनसे कि आजकल के बच्चों में इतना स्टैमिना नहीं है. ये बहुत सुनने को मिलता है.
Right. So in that way, because we are not using every muscles of our body, but we are feeding them. And what is a peculiarity is, see, I had attended a seminar a few years back where Indian Dietary Regulatory Allowance chairman was speaking. And the peculiarity he spoke is, see, in 1980s, India was also a malnourished country, and today also it is a malnourished country. Why it is so? If you see, in 1980s, we were poor. Our GDP were lesser. Economic growth was not that great. And in fact, availability of food was also a question that time. Still, it was a malnourished country. And today at 2021 or 2020, when I met him, India was a more developed country. Our economic growth has happened. Still, it is a malnourished country. And the peculiarity was, earlier in 1980s, people who were below poverty lane were malnourished. And today it is people like us, our children are malnourished, because whatever they are eating, it is only empty calorie or empty nutrition. It is junk calorie. They don't eat. See, for an example, if a child is asking for food today, ghar mein idli bani hai, and she doesn't eat idli, you have a lot of option to give it to her. Chips, fries, burger, pizza. But go back to our days. If idli bani hai, tumko khana hai to khao, nahi to bhuke raho. You don't have option to, gulp junk that time. Maximum thing you will get is 2 thin arrowroot biscuit. That's it. But today we have so much of choice. This choice is making us malnourished. That's why eating right and choosing right food and living a life which is, having a lifestyle currently where you eat good, exercise good, sleep well. Sleep is another disorder in today's generation. Some time back, I wrote an article in Deccan Herald about the same, that maximum people are sleep deprived. This generation itself is sleep deprived. And then after that, peace of mind. We know that it is little difficult to get peace of mind or, tension-free life, because being a woman specifically, we have so many roles to play. But I also believe that being a woman, at least if not every week, 10 days once, you should take a break and do whatever you feel like doing. Rejuvenate yourself. Say everything by, ask your husband to go out, ask your children to go out. And if you want to stay at home, or go out and roam, at least 2 hours is required. I'm not telling that whole day, because in today's situation, everybody is at home and you can't get a whole day for you. So that's how sedentary lifestyle affect our life.
We have Shweta Rai, who has joined us. Good evening, Shweta ji. So request everyone who is watching this video to share the video wherever they can, so that this inspirational story reaches to other women and they also get inspired. So she's a renowned wellness coach who has been working and who is on a mission to create a healthy lifestyle for all the people. Shweta Rai has already started inviting people. So share to the groups, invite more and more people, so that we can share the story to majority of the people. And if you have any questions, just comment your questions in the comment section, and we'll make sure that we ask this question to Gitanjali, and she'll be happy to answer all the questions.
Actually, one thing I wanted to share, Akanksha, is in my experience, what I have seen is, being a woman, this feeling of sacrifice makes us feel proud. That gives us that womanhood feeling ki, okay, मैंने किसी के लिए कुछ sacrifice किया है. But I have learned this from my mentor. If I'm not a happy person, I can't make my family happy. If my family is not happy, then the environment is not happy. So it lies with a small stone, or every step. It's like, if you are happy, you will make your surrounding happy. So work on self is not selfish anymore. It is the need of the hour.
Absolutely agree absolutely. और ये बहुत ही सुंदर बात कही है, अगर आप खुश नहीं है तो आप किसी और को खुश नहीं रख सकते। तो ये कहना कि मेरी प्रायोरिटी, और ये GWC जो एक फोरम है वो वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए है ये फोरम। और इस फोरम में व्हेन वी कनेक्ट टू वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर, जो फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट हमें मिलता है यूजुअली, वो ये होता है कि माय किड्स आर माय प्रायोरिटी, माय फैमिली इज माय प्रायोरिटी। दैट्स फाइन, प्रायोरिटाइजिंग थिंग्स इज completely fine, but don't lose yourself. If
Yes.
you aren't happy, you won't be able to make your family. If you aren't happy, you won't be able to make your kids happy. So priority is you. Prioritize some time for you. And that's a beautiful thing that you have mentioned.
And one more thing is, Akanksha ji, if you see, right, if you say ki my kids are my priority, and you yourself is demeaning yourself in front of them, you yourself is not respecting yourself in front of them, that same thing, today's kids are, very observant. They are very smart. That every generation is becoming smarter. That's how the biological advancement is happening. We were like, our parents' generation were smarter than our grandparents' generation. We are smarter than them. So obviously our children are also smarter than them. So whatever we are not teaching them also, in today's world, you cannot teach them. They are observant. Whatever you do, they will do it. So if you respect, they will respect themselves. Otherwise, that feeling, yes, I'm supposed to be like this. My mother taught me like this. That would come.
Right,
so
right.
if your children are your priority, the first thing is you should be priority for yourself too.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And what I believe is, our women, they need a little practice on keeping oneself happy, because they are more into that sacrificial mode कि उसके लिए sacrifice करना है, इसके लिए sacrifice करना है, इधर उधर हमेशा ही चीजों का रहा है, and they lose themselves. And once they lose themselves, वो सेल्फ रेस्पेक्ट लूज जाती है, वो आइडेंटिटी लूज जाती है, वो हैप्पीनेस खत्म हो जाती है।
खत्म हो जाती है।
और ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है। बहुत ही सुंदर बात। और आज गुरु पूर्णिमा के दिन ये बात मैं चाहती हूँ, जितनी भी महिलाएं, as many women who are listening to us, please stick to these lines. Make yourself your priority first. Keep yourself happy first. बाकी सब अपने आप खुश हो जाते हैं। बहुत ही सुंदर लाइन। थैंक यू सो मच गीतांजलि जी। इसी के साथ मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन जो आता है, क्योंकि आपने जो स्टोरी बताई है अपनी, उसमें चैलेंजेस भी बहुत रहे हैं फैमिली की तरफ से, कभी कुछ हेल्थ इश्यूज, कभी कुछ, तो कहीं ना कहीं कभी ना कभी जो आपने जर्नी शुरू करी है, यू मस्ट हैव फेल्ट कि नहीं हो पा रहा है, कभी ना कभी तो ये फीलिंग तो जरूर आई होगी कि बहुत ज्यादा वर्क प्रेशर हो गया है, इट्स बेटर दैट आई क्विट। उस मोमेंट पे what was your action? What was your thought process? And how did you manage that?
Okay, so fortunately, I would like to talk a little bit about my husband here. It's been 16 years, 17 years I'm married, but before that I dated him for 7 years. So we know each other from like 12th standard. So लोगों को believe नहीं था कि उस 12th standard में you will commit to somebody and you will get married. But every time I am low, he is there.
Wow.
The belief what I see in his eyes, you can do it. That beliefs make me to do a lot of things. And then particularly few books has helped me. When I read those books, it gives me, I'm a very much a biography person. I read a lot of biography, and everybody's biography, when I read, I found that my life is nothing, it's just a cakewalk in front of them. And every moment, there was few moment when I feel ki nahi yaar ho jata, I can also be nicely, enjoying, husband is working, I can take care of a daughter, and then be a nice housewife. I'll also go and gossip gang I will join और आओ चुगली करे टाइप वार्तालाप हो जाए. But I couldn't find myself that I belong there. So there are a few books which has helped me. Is there's a book by a psychologist. The book name is Mindset. It has impacted me a lot. So this is one book which I read all the time, anytime I feel bad. And there's one more person who has impacted me, as I told, is my mother. So I saw her struggling every day and night, but still I saw that, she's hopeful. She had that smile कि होगा सब कुछ अच्छा होगा. She never complained. And I read Oprah Winfrey's biography. If that woman, from there, struggling so much, can be the lady in the world, our journeys are, or our struggle is nothing.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Yeah, that's so true. You always have inspiration in front of you. It's just that you need to open your eyes and see who is in front of you, who is creating what. And probably this is why this show was introduced last year. And since then, we have interviewed 22 women, including you. So we have Pushpa Sahuji today. She has joined in and she says lovely. So I'll highlight her comment. Thank you so much, Pushpa, for joining in.
Pushpa introduced me to this group.
Wow, wow, wonderful, wonderful. So the people who are joining us, please share this video, please share this talk show wherever you can so that others can get inspired from the show. तो इसी के साथ जो हमारा अगला क्वेश्चन है आपसे वो यही है क्योंकि जो वो वीक मोमेंट्स होते हैं whether they break you or they make you. So for you, the weak moments, they actually made you. So as of now, the stage where you have reached as a successful wellness coach, when you look back, what do you see?
See, I see that, I don't know, somehow I maybe because of my brought up, I never learned to see what are the challenges I faced. It's like, that's how my life is, right?
Challenges into opportunities.
Yeah, if it is normal, I feel कि कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. So whenever I look back, I feel happy. I feel my parents are proud. Wherever my mom is, she will be proud of me. My father started feeling proud of me. That is one thing which I wanted to always achieve. And I remember, I remember when in my childhood, I would go to my village. People have high respect for my parents because of what my grandfather has done to the society or what my mom was. But then they'll say, दो बेटियां है ना, एक बेटा होता तो अच्छा रहता. And my mom or my dad would simply laugh, or my grandparents would simply laugh. And those people, when they call me and they say that you made us proud, or this is what is I'm facing, can you explain us how to do it? I feel whatever I wanted to achieve, at least I am in the path of achieving it. I would not say that I have achieved it. There's a way more long journey to achieve.
So how your husband and your kid, now you have a daughter, so how your husband and your kid see your journey as, or
I would tell you, Akanksha ji, if I live up to expectation of my husband and my father and my husband, and now also my daughter, then I would surpass Oprah Winfrey. They still feel that you have still more lot of capability which you are not using it. My daughter is an aspire. She wanted to be an actress, and she wanted to endorse a lot of things from Orissa. She, in her school, because of her, a lot of people know what is Sambalpuri artifacts. I was thinking that I'll tell Pushpari to invite her as a brand ambassador and speak.
Wow.
And so that's how. But then she would tell, "Ki this is not done, Mama. You should do it." So they are my source of inspiration. They still feel that I have a lot more to achieve, and I wish one day they'll also feel proud of me.
So do you still feel that there is something that is, as you said, उनको लगता है कि ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है, तो और भी ज़्यादा कर सकते हो. Do you still feel that there's something that is making you to stop somewhere, or that is pulling you back?
Yeah, I feel that. see what happens in today's see, when I was a child, as I told you about my mom's experience, people were not open to talk about mental health. Today
Right.
people are open to talk about mental health. That changes.
Mhm.
But when you
Absolutely.
talk about preventive health, people think early diagnosis of disease is preventive health, which is not
Mhm.
true. See, if you diagnose a disease early, that means you would start the medication early. Preventive health
Mhm.
is prevention of the disease. Knowingly,
Right.
also, people are not ready to work on it because it is not coming from a doctor. Still, there's a
True.
difference between a doctor talking and a wellness coach talking. And people are not
Mhm.
ready to understand if the doctor would tell prevention of disease, uski dukaan band hai na, so why would he talk about prevention of a disease?
Mhm.
So that is the biggest challenge I'm facing. And maybe, this kind of forum where I believe that if, in few years back, 20 years back, when India runs this, campaign of women literacy, because if Mahila padhegi, to pura parivar padhega, right? That was the
Right.
motto. So if we women understand preventive medicine or preventive approach of our health, then we can actually inculcate that habit in our family instead of
Oh,
waiting for a doctor to tell us. Like I told you a few example that if somebody is syndrome X and we can figure out, we would make sure that uh, he's he getting into thyroid or diabetism is 10 years later. I would have been
right.
happy instead of becoming a diabetic at 24 if I would have been become at 34. What struggle
Right.
I had, I wouldn't have gone through that, right? I would have lived my life 10 years full to the fullest. So these are the
Mhm.
few challenges which I'm experiencing, and I believe association like this and women community like this, if we start spreading the word across that there is a difference between preventive health and health industry, then life would be more
Right.
easier, and we can actually help lot many people in this um, in
Definitely.
this
Definitely.
journey.
I would really say I appreciate the efforts and the work that you're doing, because thinking about wellness and thinking about health is very much important. If you are mentally and physically healthy, then you can work on anything. If you aren't, then you're not going to make it. So the we are running short of time, but then I won't end this show before getting your message for our women entrepreneurs over here. This forum is about women entrepreneurs who are starting some this startup, or they have an idea to start something, but sometimes they quit, sometimes they restart, but there's always that breaking moment for them. So what would be your message to inspire those many women who are listening to you and would be listening to you later?
Yeah. There's one thing which I wanted to tell is we should feel blessed that we are in a generation where social entrepreneur is, or being an entrepreneur is so easy. It was never before. Unless and until it's like, we had those, if you go back to history, people who had big jamindar were successful. Then big factory
Mhm.
owners were successful. It is a generation where you have good networking, and being women, we are always good at networking, right? We go to
Yeah,
somebody's house after marriage, the entire responsibility comes to you. In fact, your mother-in-law would talk to you more than your husband अगर उनको कुछ
right.
चाहिए कि ये
Mhm.
करना है वो करना है. So why not why not we use this forum or use our this inborn capability to do good
Right.
for our society and do good for ourselves. See, everybody is good at
Mhm.
one or the thing. In today's world of Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, you just need to have one talent which you wanted to showcase. For an example, you are a good photographer. Start
Right.
doing it. Don't think how when it will pay you. You are a good cook. Start doing it. Start posting. Start sharing your experience. You might become an entrepreneur today or tomorrow, but you have to take that baby step today. See, being a woman, it is obviously a challenge because I believe that जब भी एक आदमी पैदा होता है, वो जब पैदा होता है एंड तक उसके लाइफ में मेंटली, फिजिकली, इमोशनली बहुत नेग्लिजिबल चेंज होते हैं. बट बीइंग ए वुमन वी गो थ्रू सो मेनी थिंग्स, बिकॉज सी once you are born, then your puberty, your hormone would track you somewhere else. Then your wedding, your pregnancy would track you somewhere else. Then your menopause would track you something else. These are the hormones which plays, pivotal in our success, whether it can make us or it can break us. But what we can do is we can start doing little things every day. वो कछुआ वाला चाल जो रहता है, छोटा छोटा करो, बट देन करते रहो. It's more about persistency, not about consistency. कि आज मैंने 1 महीना किया, मुझे रिजल्ट नहीं मिला. It's like, you keep on doing it and tomorrow you will get your dream come true.
Nothing goes waste. Nothing goes waste. Every little effort of yours will be counted, but be persistent. Be persistent.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And
और ये
आज जैसे श्वेता जी बोल रही है कि believe in yourself, that is the most important thing.
Absolutely. So before I'll just read her comment. She says, I think it's important to believe in oneself and definitely should give a try before you give up. Very well said, Shweta. Very well said. तो ये जो लास्ट लाइन आपने कही थी, इससे मैसेज शुरू किया था कि स्टार्ट.
एक्चुअली आपको रिग्रेट तो नहीं लगेगा ना लाइफ में कि आपने ट्राई नहीं किया.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
You would be more confident if you fail. It is my experience. See, there are a lot of time I have failed. It's not like that.
We always say that fail is first attempt in learning.
Yes.
If you fail, that is the first attempt in learning. So never ever afraid of failing or getting a failure in your way, because that actually helps you to learn. There are many times that will make you, and there would be many times that will break you. But don't take a break.
Yes.
Be persistent.
And being a woman, it is always important that we, because I believe that we are the one who is gonna, I'm bringing up my daughter. The next generation, what they think, how they will behave, what kind of society it will be. It is my responsibility. So being a woman, it is all our responsibility. So what we think about us would obviously translate it to our, they capture our thoughts. So that's also very important, that how good we think about ourselves.
True. Very well said. So Shweta has commented one more thing, and she says, when I joined my husband's office, I never thought I will cope up, but with the support of all, I did. Definitely. And Shweta Rai has been an inspiration to many over here in the forum. Thank you, Shweta, for joining in. Thank you for inviting more and more people to this show. And it was a very interesting session. It was a very interesting interaction, because when we hear such stories, when we hear women talking about their challenges, their share of challenges, and how they overcome those challenges, that actually makes us more strong. That actually guides us, that actually mentors us. So everybody who is listening to us today and will be listening to us later, this message by Gitanjali Padhi is going to be a lifesaver for all of you, I'm sure. Because the message that she has conveyed over here is to start. Be persistent. Keep yourself as your priority. Make yourself happy. If you will be happy, you will be able to make your kids happy. You will be able to make your family happy. And once you start, automatically things get into shape and people connect to you to help you. So it's important to start and be consistent, be persistent in your efforts. Even if you fail, that fail is first attempt in learning. Take it as a learning process. Learn to unlearn, I would rather say.
So change is the only constant.
Yeah. So another comment that we have is, love you both always. It's important to understand each other's feelings, respect, and extend a helping hand. True. That's so true, Shweta. Thank you so much, Shweta. Thank you. So here we'll take your leave. Thank you everyone who joined us today and shared the video. I would request the people who would be watching this video later to share this wherever they can so that it reaches to masses and people get inspired. Thank you so much, Gitanjali ji, for today's interesting session. We
My pleasure,
we would,
Akanksha ji.
our pleasure. It was an honor. It was an honor to hear such an inspirational story. And definitely we look forward for a long-term association with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.